Standing by.
Waiting,
Well, can we
waiting.
sit by instead?
What's
I'd
up,
rather
Chuck?
sit by.
Hey, internets! It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers. All of them, once again, gathered around the overlay. And everybody has brought the silliness, which is good. This is the Dawnbringers, Season 6, The Wild Beyond the WitchLight. This is Episode 17, Loomlurch. And in just a moment, I will give you all a little bit of a recap, bring Kitty up to speed since she wasn't here last week, and we will get into the game. First off, I want to just draw attention to the sword pen Session 0 logo up above my head. Dawnbringers is brought to you by Session 0 Clothing. They are makers of nerdy t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and accessories for your next Session 0. Follow the affiliate link and use code MTD0 to get 10% off your order.
They're also really nice people.
Yes, very, very nice. Also, our channel sponsor is Talon and Claw. You can head over to Talon and Claw's Etsy shop. Check out all of their offerings of DM screens, dice vaults, dice towers, trays, and more. Use code MTDClaw at checkout. I cannot tell what is happening, but somebody got the giggles.
I do.
You can head over to Talon and Claw, where you can get some pretty cool, I don't know if you can see that. Like this is the dual, whoops. This is the dual hero hex vault. Yours says butts. Mine says Master of Dungeons. They're the same thing.
Pretty much.
Depends on how you look at it.
Parallels are uncanny.
Butts
Exactly.
and dungeons are the same thing.
No, butts and Master of Dungeons.
You're Prince Charles.
How many
Are you
times?
king?
How many times is Katie gonna drop that? Zero context, just references to the king. Anyway,
I'm so well behaved.
also something else that I want to mention briefly. We showed a sneak peek trailer last week. You can head over to youtube.com/mini-terrain domain and look up Descent into Avernus, Road Warriors of Hell. And you will find the teaser trailer for the brand new streaming D&D game coming to MTD starting next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We are going to have 2 Tuesdays back-to-back, a 2-part premiere, and then starting October 4th, every other Tuesday, we will be playing, and that is going to be Dungeon Mastered by Violet Davies and myself and Dwight and our friend Nicole Sparks, Sarah Nelson, and Karen Davies will also be playing in that game as well. We're very excited. It's a limited campaign, limited in that we know it's only going to go so far. We just don't know how many episodes exactly yet. But it's sure to be awesome. Tune in to check that out. You have to wait until October, but it will be worth the wait. Tune in to Nerdarchy on October 7th for our next untraditionally arcane. Ted is our dungeon master, and all of us are untraditionally arcane wizards. For example, I am Ordo Wonderbeard, the Beardomancer. And that is a fun game. Wonderful group of people as well, so be sure to check that out. Last thing I want to mention before we get into recap and playing the game is, of course, as always, to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether or not you believe it, it's true. That's why we say it before every game. We want you to understand that. We want you to know that and believe it. You also need to know that if you are struggling, it's okay to not be okay. But you do not have to struggle alone. you can come to our chat, and at any time you can type !help, as Jeremy has done. And some URLs will come up. They are findahelpline.com, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources on takethis.org/mental-health-resources. Those are all excellent resources. If you are in need of them, please bookmark them, save them for yourself or a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. You all recently, in our last session, you had a conversation with the dead. Using one of the 2 intact Dragonborn assassin bodies, you were able to communicate with one of them and kind of figure out a little bit about who sent them, learning that they were sent by an organization called the League of Malevolence, and that they were searching for a unicorn horn and trying to set somebody free from a time stasis. You learned some new things, but not what you were expecting. But never fear, for Talmud made sure that you had a spare and brought the other intact head, which is now in Fig's, in a jar in Fig's hat. You then talked to the children, the getaway gang, and decided you were going to go off on your own and let them kind of do their thing. And you all headed to Loomlurch. You headed into the Goblin Market, where you met the Goblin Chucklehead, who had a literal toffee apple for a head, and talked about a worm that had crawled inside and was talking to him. Thorgarn wasted no time in laying on hands, which caused the apple to quickly rot away and the worm to fall on the ground, where the now restored Chucklehead stomped on it. Gave you all free candy, which caused some interesting side effects. Notably, Talmud is still currently foaming at the mouth a bit and unable to speak clearly, and Thorgarn is shrouded in fireflies that are illuminating his form, like a new spell, Fairy Firefly Fire. Fairy Firefly Fire. Yeah, something like that. You started to learn that the children were kept in a location in one of the towers on the giant fallen tree that serves as Loomlurch. And you learned that one child was kept in the kitchen, and that they look after Cradlefall, a green dragon that is disguised as a wormling. And your new goblin friends, after giving you a bunch of candy, said they were going to go in and they were going to deal with all the boggles, these interesting little big-headed, tiny-bodied creatures. Although Bert, one of the goblins, ate a piece of candy and shrunk really small, but Chucklehead put him in his pocket, and they headed off. There was talk of a plan, and that's where we're going to pick up, as there was the beginnings of a plan for Fig to go to the kitchen, I believe. But let's go ahead and pick up there as you all are determining how you want to approach this. Katie, for reference, if you scroll up just a little bit in our chat, there is a map that I dropped there that shows what Loomlurch looks like.
Yes. I remember that coming in.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what would you like to do, Dawnbringers, as you, the goblins have headed inside to deal with the boggles? You have some time to plan.
I think that Fig wants to turn into some type of finch or bird, bat, something that seems like it would be in here, and just take a fly around so that he can see particularly the kitchen and the dormitory for reference for when he casts his spell.
You maybe see if you can spot what is the hag's name again?
Granny Nightshade.
Agatha, Granny Nightshade.
Scabatha Nightshade is her name.
Scabatha, that's what it is.
She sounds
see if
very
maybe
picky.
You can spot the. Yes. See if you can maybe find where she's at currently, and your little fly.
Yeah, Fig nods. And he's going to cast polymorph on himself, and he turns into a. We just recently saw Lord of the Rings, so rewatched them all. So I love the scene with the moth. So from that, he's gonna turn into a little clockwork moth as he flutters away.
You're doing that through polymorph?
Yes.
Cool. So you turn just yourself into a clockwork moth, and you are going to fly around. Where would you like to... Basically, I'm going to let you fly towards one of the locations. And did the map I gave you all, did that have numbers on it? Like room numbers?
No.
All right, let me do this. Because it will be easier for me to know exactly what you're talking about. All right, hold on. There we go. This thing. Nope. Wow. That map is too big. Let me try this. What I had to do last time. I'm going to drop a new copy of the map in there so that you can reference directly an area that you're heading towards, so I don't have to guess. So you don't have to go, that circle next to the rectangle. This will save us a lot of confusion. So here is the updated one. So Fig, as you take off now, as a reminder, you all are essentially in area L2 at the Goblin Candy Market. And you know that the children are being kept in the dormitory, which is in L8, in that first tower, and that the kitchens are L13 up near the top. And I believe you were told, and if not, I'm telling you now, the last tower, where L14, 16, 17, that is where Granny Nightshade's quarters are. I believe Chucklehead told you that.
You said L14?
Yes. So each of those circles is a tower. Like, picture like a tree has grown up out of this fallen tree.
Is L12 above L11, I'm guessing?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Same with 8 above 7 and 16 to 17 are above 14. Very well. So
I realized
Fig,
how silly that question was when I asked it.
Not really. I mean, it could easily have been down. Fig, where would you like to fly to first?
He is going to head to the kitchen just to have a quick peek inside, just so that he can visualize it later.
Okay. So it'll take you a few minutes as a moth to head off that way. So as clockwork moth Fig flies off into the darkness towards the kitchen, what's everybody else going to do? And I'll say, Talmud, enough time has passed that it's easier for you to talk. You're still occasionally foaming at the mouth and
that's pretty normal.
Yeah, right. You just sound like you have a mouthful of marbles, but and Thorgarn, you are definitely still covered in fireflies.
So, in regards to the fireflies, are they just kind of there? Do they interact in any way, shape, or form?
They basically kind of are flying around you. So it gives you this sort of glowing appearance. And as you move your arms, they sort of momentarily disturb and then follow almost like ghost trails as you move. They're sticking to you.
I occasionally press to digitate. Now you got me concerned. Talmud. I'll occasionally press to digitate him whenever like his foam spills over.
Thank you. That's very appreciated.
Not a problem. You know, you got a little.
Drown.
So we wait for Fig?
I believe we're waiting for Fig.
All right.
Okay.
Fig. You make your way to the kitchen. And as you get over there, you see a little bit of light is spilling out into this. You've passed by the second tower, and you see where the roots are sort of climbing up and through, almost like wooden serpents climbing through. They weirdly almost look like fingers or toes that are grasping in to the ground. And just beyond that, you see what looks like red-capped mushrooms in a small field. But from that door, you see a little bit of light spilling out because somebody has propped the door open a little bit. And there is a gap so that you can fly into the kitchen if you wish. All right. So flying in through the gap, you enter into a room that is, if it wasn't for the large clay oven in the middle of the room, you might not know that it was a kitchen. This is probably one of the dirtiest kitchens you've ever seen. It looks like it's been carved out of the tree. Surrounding this clay oven, you see shelves that are just crowded with various forest fungi. There's jars of pickled grubs, animal skulls, moldy cookbooks. There's a cauldron sitting up on top of this oven, and there's this sickly sweet vapor just sort of rising up and spilling out into the room. And you see a work table in this room, and the next to the table, you see with a blanket pulled up over their head, you see a small child-sized figure, humanoid, that is hunched over, and they are peeling potatoes, dropping the skins into one container and then dropping the potatoes into a bucket. And you see from under the blanket, you see the chain that is coming out from where their foot must be and leading to this heavy table. And it appears this child is shackled to the table. There is an iron grate in the floor. And from the iron grate, you actually hear this voice speaking up.
Are those potatoes I smell?
As you flit around this room, you also see that near the oven, you see green smoke sort of curl up as if coming from one of the vents, and you realize there's roughly the size of a large dog, but is a green dragon wormling curled up next to this stove, and you can hear the heavy As it snores, and you hear with each exhale, you see the green fumes rising up. That's what you see in here. Well, actually, one other thing. You see that there are doors that head roughly to the north and to the south in this room.
Who was saying potatoes? Sorry.
A voice that appeared
voice,
to be
okay.
coming from the grate in the floor.
What does the voice sound like? Is it like just
Gruff,
and...
gruff, masculine.
Okay. All right. Fig just wanted to see it. He has a good look, so he's gonna flitter on by taking note of the chain. But and if there's just a little bit more time, he would just want to do a very quick pass, like if he's in L13, if he can, if there's any windows or anything, he would want to just try and flit around L14, that tower.
Okay. Before you leave the kitchen, give me a perception or an investigation check.
$30.
That'll do.
3-0, not 1-3.
Yes. For
Investigation?
investigation. Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay, so with that 30, you're going to see two things. Excuse me, two things. You are going to notice before you leave the room that one, as you sort of fly up and over where this child is peeling these potatoes, you see that grate in the floor, and the light in this room and with your angle is just enough that you can see a very dirty and bedraggled looking dwarf is under the grate staring up. This appears to be some sort of oubliette or prison of some sort, an additional prison. The other thing you notice, also through a grate, but this one is in the side of the oven. You see the flames, and though you are in full control of your facilities, you are a clockwork moth, there's just some part of your brain in your moth form that is drawn to notice the flame, almost like a pilot light, but a bit brighter. And perhaps because it's not a full-blown cooking fire yet, you see the flame as it's sort of just flickering inside. You see as a couple licks of flame curl out and grab the grates, and you see what looks like pinpoints of blue flame that are eyes, as the fire just kind of looks around, looks over at where the potatoes are being peeled, and just kind of flares for a moment, and then pulls back and seems to just be pacing around inside the oven. Now, you can continue out if you wish, unless that changes anything you want to do.
No, but it looks like this child has a lot more eyes on them than we thought. So, yeah. With that, Fig's just going to continue out, wanting to get back to the others to relay this information.
All right, so you sort of flip back out the door, and you kind of almost get caught on the heat draft coming up out of the kitchen, and you momentarily find yourself up in that tower of where L14 is. And as you sort of flit up, you see that there are The lower level, you can see a staircase running along the circular walls of the room that seem to go up to another level. You can see some bookshelves full of ancient books. You can see one of the bookcases has a tall oval mirror and a wooden frame. And you can see a roll-top desk situated in this room with a human skull sitting on it, and you can see points of firelight flickering in the eye sockets of it. As you continue upward, you catch a glimpse into the next room, L16, which I don't know what you're expecting to see from Granny Nightshade's bedroom, but what you see in here is a brass framed bed with a patchwork quilt that is neatly organized. You see on the dresser there's a row of ornamental pigs of different sizes and styles. You see next to the bed is what looks like a 3-foot tall dollhouse, but it looks like a house that has seen better days. If you remember in Downfall, what Bavlorna's cottage had that very weather-worn and aged look, this dollhouse has that look. Rather than being a neat looking home, this is a place that looks like it's in disrepair. And then next to it, to the dollhouse, on the same wooden table, you see a glass jar, inside which are several moths that are just sort of flitting about inside the jar. And the last thing you see in this room is a what looks like a wooden rocking cradle with a neatly folded blanket inside of it. I had to catch up on domain dice.
No, no sign of the Scabatha.
You do not, aside from the moths, you do not see any living creatures in this space.
Okay. Okay, taking note of all of this and just seeing that maybe the time is getting a bit later, Fig is going to finish his circle and then back to the rest.
So I would say about 5 to 10 minutes later, as Talmud is sort of spitting out the last of the foam, and while the fireflies are still around Thorgarn, they seem to be thinning a bit. A clockwork moth that is Fig comes flitting back into the light through the windows next to the Goblin Candy Market.
While Fig was gone, Rolo pulls out a disguise kit and begins smothering herself in green.
Okay.
So that she looks like a green kobold.
Okay. Make a performance check.
Oh, wait. Oh, natural 20. That's a 20.
For a 20, okay. No, I think you do a really good job of covering your scales with this green makeup and even tinting in other colors to get the proper shading in the right spaces, and it's
Rolo contours.
very well done disguise. Yeah, you look like a green kobold. And then you return, Fig.
Yeah, you see the the wings begin to stretch out, and it almost looks like everything is discombobulating as things, as the parts begin to grow and the change until you see Fig. And he will relay to the others what he saw in the kitchen and in the tower. Afterwards, just pausing. We will have to act quickly when we save Mishka. There are many more in the kitchen than I thought.
Who else is in the kitchen?
There is the dragon, a dwarf in a vent, and a fire with eyes in the stove.
A dragon, a dwarf, and a fire with eyes.
Fire elemental?
Perhaps.
That's what I would guess.
Oh, and the child is chained to the table.
Gosh.
Rolla can break the chain.
So it sounds like maybe the two of us should not go alone to rescue this Mishka. I think that was the name, Mishka.
Mishka, yes.
Her. I think it was her, right?
Yes. Yes, so the connection was that Chucklehead was rather fond of Mishka. They had become friends, was the impression you got.
Why protect and keep that child separated in there like that? There must be some kind of reason.
Control.
Punishment?
A dragon, an elemental? Seems like a lot of security.
Maybe it's more who might go in to get her.
Perhaps.
Yes,
Did you say the dragon seemed trapped there? Could you tell?
The dragon appeared to be sleeping next to the oven.
Yeah, Fig would shake his head. The dragon was sleeping.
Perhaps the dragon simply likes it in the kitchen, either for the warmth or because it is fond of the child. We heard that was the case, so...
So
Are we sure we have to fight the dragon?
No, I don't think so. We know it's
Okay,
fond of the
we don't.
child. We may be able to convince it to help free her.
Okay.
But we don't
what about
know
the,
what sort of hold Granny Nightshade has on it.
and what about the dwarf in the hole? Do we feel the need to set them free as well?
Perhaps the parley with them might be in order.
Clearly,
So
they're
anybody-
no friend
anybody
of,
that's- Anybody that's trapped and wants freeing, be
So, we go save her. Then we go save the other children.
I think so. If she's the only one that we've seen that's chained, and there's this much protection, maybe she knows something or is capable of something that maybe the other children aren't. She might even be able to help us free the others.
It's possible.
Do we know what area the children are in, or was that an out of play?
Chucklehead said that with the exception of Mishka, the other children typically are in the textile mill or the workshop, but it's getting to the time where they would be taken to the dormitory for the night.
So do we know where the dormitory is? Like, did
Yes.
he tell us
Yep.
where in the building it is?
Yep, that's the first tower, 7 and 8.
Yeah, I think Dan or Drown could do a portal, right?
Yeah, there was mention of
Yes.
of that as well.
I need to be able to see the destination, but yes.
Yeah, and because this is a top-down map, as a reminder, all of the 3 tree towers that are growing up, they all have window slits throughout them.
Warlock can distract the fire elemental with a water elemental.
Good. Jake, about how high up off the ground is the dormitory floor?
So the Loomlurch. Let me just double check here. The most of the ceilings are around 8 feet high in this place, which was true of the kitchen where Fig was.
Okay.
So the
You know what?
dormitory is
I
probably
just-
close
I just-
to 20 feet.
I just checked the range. It's only about 160 feet
From where you are.
from the dormitory tower to the other side of the bridge, which I think is basically toward safety, right? Because that's where we came from the markets, right? Across the bridges.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was worried about how far I'd be able to get with an arcane gate, but I mean I can get like 4 times off the map. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think Loomlurch itself is only 100.
plenty.
Less
We
than,
got
it's less than
plenty of
200.
range as long as I got line of sight.
Yep.
So we have to be very quick, because if she get notified, then we'd have to deal with her too.
I think we should.
Do we want to split up?
I think we should save the children quickly. And I think we will have whatever come will come no matter what. So I will go, and I can bring one other person with me to the kitchen and back to the dormitory with Mishka.
I'll go with you.
Can you shatter the chain?
No, but I sure as hell can chop through the table if I have to.
Big, you could probably dimension door out with her chains or no, unless there's something about them that prevents that, which is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, Fig just wants to get in, get out, and Talmud can do whatever. Yeah.
Does Fig know knock by any chance? No.
No.
Okay, so you two go to kitchen. The rest of us go to children.
Yes.
Okay. Go Dawnbringers!
Go team and break.
Rolo is going to start flying.
So who's going to the kitchen?
Sounds
Talmud
like
and
Fig and
Talmud.
Talmud.
And Rolo, were you going to the kitchens or were you going elsewhere?
No, I'm going to be going, I'm going to be flying toward the dormitories.
Okay.
And I'm having a little trouble seeing, is the staircase inside or outside?
It is inside.
Okay, so I could fly up to L9 and go in through that door and then into L7, right? then up
Yes.
to
There's
L8.
also windows all up and down those trees as well.
Oh, wait, there's a door at L8.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna fly that way.
Okay. So you are heading around the back side of the tower, kind of flying up over part of the down tree and flying that way. Cantriel, Thorgarn, and Drown. Where are you going? Or what are you doing?
Did the
We
dormitories
are-
open?
Yeah, we are currently at the stalls still.
Yes, L2.
Okay. Are those windows right next to us?
Yes.
Those might be our easiest way in, unless we want to climb the outside.
And I could climb if you wanted. It doesn't look like it's a difficult climb, does it, Jake?
It is essentially a very large downed tree. So it has thick crags of bark with lots of hand and footholds. I would honestly say I wouldn't even make you make climbing checks to climb on this. It's something that's easy to climb across. Your speed would be reduced by half while climbing. But other than that, I wouldn't make you make any checks.
That can work. Void the interiors entirely.
How many children were we told are in here?
I remember if we got a count.
I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thought though, the kitchen strike team's plan is your plan to go bust the kid out and then just walk up to the dorm, unless something goes wrong.
I was
Because you
thinking,
can only dimension door with one person.
Yeah, so Fig,
Right.
I think Fig is his intention is to dimension door in with Talmud and out with Mishka.
Oh,
Right.
and then Talmud just thought his own.
I'm a one dwarf invasion force.
All right.
I mean, Talmud has his
D-Day.
cloak.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Never mind. We're all good here.
Worst come to worst.
So many
Yeah.
dimension
Yeah, but
doors.
my
Of
plan is
course,
to
the
then go-
Dawnbringers have a bunch of dimension doors.
Because we don't use real doors.
Before I fly off, actually,
Real doors are for suckers.
I want to talk to the group.
Rolo will go in and make safe haven for the kids to hide until you get upstairs.
That's a good thought.
Okay, bye.
Get them all in
And
the
then
house
my
of
plan
affirmation.
is to come from the kitchens straight to the dorms, just in case there's further trouble. I'll make my way out with you all.
All right.
Okay. So, Rolo begins flying up and around to head to the dormitory while Talmud and Fig, you're dimension dooring from where you are into the kitchen? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Where in the kitchen? In relation to
most-
the child?
When Fig pictures it, he wants just like the most open spot
Okay.
that he remembers, that he visualizes.
Okay. Just for fun.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This doesn't sound fun.
Roll a D100.
Oh no.
There is a 20% chance of what I'm thinking of.
Oh no. I know. I got a 62.
I rolled an 84, so it would have had to have been a 74 to a 94. So you will safely land in a clear spot on the floor, not on top of the big work table amidst all the dirty dishes and all that. So that would have been a very loud clattering arrival. So you create your dimension door. And what does that look like, Fig, as the door opens into the kitchen and the two of you step in there?
I imagine that you see this like very thin line begin to form of blue arcane energy, as well as these two, and then it begins to be lined by these gears that seem to turn, and almost like it's a mechanical door. The gears begin to move and it opens up into this like blue ethereal space as Talmud and Fig kind of step through.
As you step into the room, I would like the two of you to make a stealth check with advantage.
Wow. Dirty 20 for me.
Well, that's a 10
Domain dice.
for me.
Domain dice.
Okay. I'll spend a domain die. Only because Katie was so insistent. Okay. It's a little bit better. 18.
Okay. So you appear in this kitchen space. You're in an area that is essentially it would be in that open space in the lower right corner to the left of the entry door from outside of L13. The workbench with the child chained to it is that table sort of on the left side of the room that the oven is facing. So you're in this wide open space and you see that it appears that nobody is aware that you have stepped into this room. What would you like to do?
Talmud kind of like scans the room in disgust. Nipsey Huddle would never approve of this place.
I doubt there are any pastries here. As Fig whispers.
I wouldn't eat any that I found. Well, let's get the girl. Talmud's gonna, like, exaggeratedly tiptoe, like, over towards where she is.
Okay.
Yeah,
and you see
Fig
this.
is going to let him, yeah.
You see them hunched over, and you can see them, you can hear them peeling the potatoes. They've got this ratty blanket. It looks like what you would expect a blanket that somebody that's forced to stay in the kitchen. It's kind of grease covered and dirty, and
if he's able to cross the floor safely, then he's going to basically kind of move up to where the child is, hopefully try to move around kind of the side of her with a little bit of a distance to try to catch her, peripheral without startling her too much. He's going to try to like get her attention and then very quickly put his finger to his mouth.
okay. You step around to the side very quietly. Because of the amount of space you have to cover, I do want you to make a stealth check.
This one's just a flat roll, right?
Yep.
Okay, I can work with that. That's a 21.
Okay. Okay. You very quietly move around the table, moving in towards that space, so you're moving towards that wall and coming around to where you can see this girl and kind of move into her line of sight. And as you move over, we see Fig alighting outside of the dormitory, that set of stairs. And were all three of you, the other three of you, were you climbing up
Did you
the
mean
tree.
Rolo?
What did I say?
Fig.
How did
Now
I
you know
mix
what
up
it
Fig
feels
and
like.
Rolo? Jeez.
Now, oh, you know.
Now you're confusing the wizards.
I have too many
Just
children.
grouping
That's
us
the
like
problem.
eggs.
I just have too many children. Thorgarn, you sounded like you wanted to climb up. I don't know if the other... I wasn't 100% clear on how you all were planning to get to the dorms.
I'm good with climbing.
Okay.
Yep,
So,
climbing was the plan.
Rolo, do you fly to the balcony and wait for the others? Do you sort of fly along with them?
No, I noticed there's windows in the dormitory.
Yep.
I'm actually going to fly to the window and get in that way.
Okay. So you fly up to L8, and you fly up to one of the windows, and you see that there are 10 beds with patchwork quilts on them arranged in this sort of half circle around this room. And you can see the forms of several children under the covers already.
Are all the beds full?
Yes.
Okay. Rolo's going to fly in. Is there anyone else in the room?
Let's see, this is L8. Oops. Wait. Yeah, sorry. So you see not in the room. So as because you came to the windows, you would notice before you got to where that balcony is, you can just see, and you kind of hear, it almost sounds like if Hermes actually walked slowly. There's this sort of metallic footstep sound, and you see a very stiff-legged, stiff-armed tin soldier. And then it sticks one leg out, and it pivots on its foot, drops its leg, and...
Okay. Are the children asleep?
You can't tell from out here. They look like they might be asleep. You do hear a little bit of from one of the bunks. You see one of the figures is kind of tossing and turning.
Okay. Rolo is going to fly in and very quietly.
Hey kids, we're here to save you, but you have to be quiet.
And then she's going to begin casting Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion.
Okay. What's the casting time
or
on that?
Rolo's Affirmation Hotel.
Yeah. That was Rolo's House of Affirmation, I believe.
That was at Rolo's House of Affirmation.
What's the casting time on that again?
1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. So you see a little bit of stirring. About this time, Cantriel, Drown, and Thorgarn, you sort of clamber up on top of that L4 area, and you can just see up to where the balcony is. You see Rolo kind of go up inside the window, and you can see along the balcony as there are 2 toy soldiers, tin soldiers, that are patrolling out there. But that's sort of on the back, that sort of back side where the balcony is, which seems to be where the main entrance to the dorms are. Otherwise, there's a window up over the L9 area that is pretty close to where you can get to, or if you want to take some other form to try to get in there. Dan, you're muted. Unless you were muted intentionally.
You're muted, Dan.
Yeah, no, I was muted intentionally.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So how are the three of you approaching the dormitories then?
Climbing up the outside towards what sort of looked like a balcony on the map.
That's where you do see that there are 2 tin soldiers that are patrolling there.
Ah, got it.
I mean, that you don't have to let that deter you if you don't want to. Just know that there's 2 tin soldiers there.
Can we see from down here?
Can you see what?
Can we see them from down on the ground, or have we just been informed of them?
No, I thought you climbed up on top of it, L4, and
Yeah.
were making your way towards. So
Okay.
you're sort of at this point. You're sort of because you've climbed up. You're below where the dormitories are, and you can kind of see up there that just not very high because of how high you already are. You can see that balcony is just up there, kind of like somebody on if you were on the ground floor in the second story apartment, somebody was in the balcony. You can kind of see as these tin soldiers kind of move back and forth.
Do we want to take out the tin soldiers?
I'm okay with that.
Looks like we'll have to.
Right, well, I can do it from here. Take care of them from a distance.
It's going to be loud.
I could sneak up there and try and take care of them.
If there's a balcony, can we shove them off?
Yes.
Could certainly
I could
try.
pull one of them. I could pull both of them off, potentially, but loud.
Oh, I'm involved. Everything's going to be loud.
Yeah. How long does Rollo's House of Affirmation take to cast?
1 minute.
1 minute.
So at this point, how long has Rollo been gone?
Rollo
I've got
flew.
a fly speed of 30, and I would have gone 60 movement per round because I don't have to sneak or anything.
I would say by the time you're up on the roof and seeing the tin soldiers and figuring out what to do, Rollo has already gone inside and started casting.
Let's
Give it another minute and then go.
let's give it a minute. Make sure Rollo has the mansion up and is at least starting to get the kids moving into it. And then we can hit the sentries.
Okay. So, Rollo is casting. You have all identified these tin soldiers and are preparing to deal with them. Back in the kitchen, Talmud, you've moved around the side of the table, and you can see where Mishka is hunched over, huddled under this blanket, and cutting the potatoes, but they're still sitting there with the blanket kind of pulled over them. They don't seem to have whoops, yeah, that's, oh no, they definitely don't seem to notice you.
Talmud is going to take a gold coin out of his pouch and kind of like set it on end and kind of just flick it so that it rolls, hopefully kind of in front of her.
Okay. You drop down, you set this coin on end, and you roll it across the floor. You give it a little bit of a flick because it's kind of a flagstone floor. And we hear this metallic, I just like to picture this extreme low angle close up of this coin that almost like the camera just kind of rotates with the coin a couple revolutions, and it hits Mishka's foot and sort of, and Fig and Talmud, you see as the hand peeling the potatoes stops. and you see the hand reach down, and as the hand reaches down to pick up the coin, you hear as, let me check one thing. Both of you make a perception check for me.
19.
And I got a 15.
Okay. Talmud, you did not notice this until you heard the sound. Fig, you noticed just before you heard the you see moving around the backside of the table. You see the green dragon wormling, almost as if it knew you were there the entire time. And you see its head rising up over the table. At the same moment, you see the hand close around the coin. Fig, or Rolo, what now that you've finished casting your House of Affirmation, what are you doing to wake the kids up and get them into the safe haven?
She's going to go bed to bed and just very quietly kind of rock their shoulder, and when they wake, she'll...
We are here to save you, but you have to go into the house so we can protect you.
You just see, from under blankets and pillows, you see like an eye kind of groggily peering at you, and you hear a... And then just kind of you see sort of a nod from under the covers as they start to shift, and you move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
It's a 15.
Okay. Make me roll a d10.
Okay. Three.
Okay. So you get to the third child, and as you shake them awake and you see somebody peering from under the covers, their hand reaches out to where you're shaking them, and you smell something almost like a mixture. It smells like tar, but like hot tar, and I think I inadvertently have just tapped into a smell that you actually know very well, because I'm thinking about like roofing tar and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you
I'm very
realize
familiar with that
this hand is thick and sticky with a black goo as it grips yours. And I need you to make a strength, athletics, or acrobatics check as it is attempting to grapple you.
We're gonna go with acrobatics. That is a 13 plus 2, 15.
You pull your hand away, kind of rolling out of the way as you just see these tendrils of tar coming from where your hands connect. And you see the child climb up out of the covers, and then you see all of the other beds as they start to stand up. And you see, peering out of the darkness, bright orbs of yellow from these enlarged heads and hunched little oil-covered bodies. At the same moment, Talmud, you see the hand, gray, dripping with black goo, close around the coin. And then you see the big-headed Boggle turn towards you from under the blanket. It holds the hand up, and you watch as in front of its hand you see this almost very similar but much cruder and less elegant than Fig's dimension door. You see an arcane swirl of energy in front of its hand, and it goes poof and reaches through a dimensional rift to punch you in the nose. As its fist appears right in front of your face. We're going to see... Oh, that was almost a crit. That would have been amazing. It's a tiny fist, and it barely does anything. Just kind of get your whiskers a bit with a 3 to hit. As you suddenly are also aware of the dragon that is rising up over the table behind. And you realize in the dormitory, Rolo, that you are surrounded by boggles.
Cool.
Not children.
Cool.
And outside, Cantriel, Drown, and Thorgarn. And inside, well, actually, I guess all of you, because you're not flying right now, Rolo. I need everybody to make dexterity saving throws.
Is this
I would like
due
to use a
something
domain
that I can
die.
see coming? Oh, that's just them. Never mind.
This is not something you can see coming.
I would also like to use a domain die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cantriel and
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Cantriel and Drown should get a +2 from me.
Great. I burned a domain die and got a 24. Natural 20.
Okay.
With the extra +2, I'm looking at 18.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
I got a 13.
It's probably going to be a fail for me. I'm at a whopping 11.
Okay, a 13 and an 11 and a 7, Fig.
Yeah.
Fig, Talmud, where you are in the kitchen, as the ground starts shaking, you see this dragon wormling as it plants its hands into the table. It digs its claws in and stabilizes itself. You feel the entire kitchen begin shaking and lurching, and you lose your footing and you fall prone. You fall on your knees or your butt or whatever. As Cantriel, Drown, and Thorgarn, and then Rolo up inside the dormitory, this whole Loomlurch structure seems to be shaking, and you all manage to, except for Thorgarn, where you're standing outside, you're not going to roll off or anything, but you do fall prone on this section of roof that you're on as you feel it lurching. Drown and Cantriel, from your vantage points, not having fallen and being on the exterior, you are the ones that can clearly see that, at least from what you can see where you are, this entire structure of Loomlurch, where fallen branches have branched out and seem to be kind of rooting into the ground, you see now as the whole structure is rising up on multiple wooden legs into the air as you rise another 30 or 40 feet up, as the whole thing rises upward, and you feel it sway as it takes its first steps walking through the jungle. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Cool. Bigger trap than we thought.
Yeah.
Well, I like following the side chat that absolutely nobody did not see that there was some kind of trap going on. Things are. But I see you guys proactively rolling initiative in the chat.
Yeah, us, yep.
Awesome. We're gonna go ahead and we are going to take about a 10-minute break. I think just for fun, because I can. We're gonna lead into the break with our Descent into Avernus teaser once again. So I'm gonna run that, and then 10 minutes after that, we will be back from our break. So we will see you in just over 10 minutes. All right, we have rolled for initiative behind the scenes as the entire tree of Loomlurch is, well, lurching to its feet and is now mobile. Something that I didn't do, but I'm going to do now, is I'm going to roll dex saves for the tin soldiers that are on the balcony. Oh my gosh. As you are making your plans to climb up and deal with these two tin soldiers, you watch as the entire structure lurches up and you see them sort of clatter into one another. One gets hit, the other, and it knocks the other one backwards, and you watch him just go as this one kind of gets pulled along, grabs the railing, holds on for a second, drops to the ground. And you see Cantriel and Drown as this one is dropped down. You see it actually kind of spin its head back around and stand up. And then you watch as one of the many tree limb legs go and crush the tin soldier. We are now in initiative order. And
So
that
if we were seeing the tin soldiers as the bad guys, and this thing just attacked tin, this must easily be our ally.
I wouldn't say it's so much attacked as it's stepped on.
I think it was just coincidence.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. See it how you want. Cantriel. It is your turn. You currently don't see any enemies per se.
Yeah, Cantriel, all that's happening is now worried about Rollo and Talmud and Fig. So she's going to use one action and reach out to... she'll probably go with Talmud first. We're going to do sending. So, we're still outside. Rollo's in the dormitory. What the hell's going on with you? The house is on the move, obviously.
It's a trap. And I don't know where the kids are. Climb on?
That's a shirt. Climb on!
It's all in how you say it, what the shirt means. It's up to you.
Scandalous.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You made Katie clutch her pearls.
that was an action. Do you do anything else, Cantriel?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talmud, a slimy-fisted child, has just reached through a dimensional gate and tried to punch you in the nose. And a dragon is clambering over the table. What would you like to do?
So, you mentioned earlier that there was some kind of jar or vessel in here that had like something kind of like creeping up and out of the sides and pouring down.
On top of the clay oven is a cauldron.
So it looks hot, like there's like it's steaming or bubbling or what have you.
Let me just double check. I mean, it's a fair assessment. It's sitting on the oven and appears to almost be simmering.
Perfect. I'd like to position myself beside the oven, and I'm going to Babe Ruth that cauldron right into this bastard child that's sitting on the floor. So,
Okay. Swing away.
I want to point first. And his tattoos begin to glow blue as a different face takes over his own, and he's going to scream out, "Swing away!" and aggressively attack, or recklessly attack even. Let's see. It's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. You slam into this cauldron and send it flying. Go ahead and roll 2d6 bludgeoning and 1d6 fire damage.
Okay, that is. Do you still want me to add my modifier and everything?
I'm gonna say.
It'd be just strength.
I mean, I'll let you add your strength modifier to that. You're not proficient with cauldrons.
Well, yeah, the proficiency bonus doesn't go into damage, but my rage would, maybe.
Well, yeah, you can add your raid bonus as well. Yeah, just treat it like
Okay.
you would normally do. That is not the right.
Okay, so
stat
then
block.
that is going to be 12 points of bludgeoning and only one point of fire.
Okay. So you send this hurtling into this boggle that as it strikes, it sends them sort of sprawling, knocking the blanket loose, and you see this hunched, oily looking figure with a head that's like twice the size of its body, big bulbous yellow eyes, a big underbite, teeth coming up, and it seems to just be oozing this black ichor from its pores. As you have knocked it asunder, but not killed it on your first attack.
Okay. And then if I have any movement left, I'd like to, I think, like, kind of try to vault up onto this table that the dragon is on. And if I can close with it for my second attack, that's what I would like to do.
Yes. Yeah. You can do that.
Okay. Do you want a roll for athletics or acrobatics or anything? Or?
Only because it's Thorgarn. Damn it. It's Talmud. It's because I didn't look. I didn't look.
Just kidding.
Only because it's Talmud. Okay. Yes, I want you to roll.
Okay. Do you want acrobatics? If we're
That's
going
your
the
choice.
Clumsy route?
It's your choice.
Well, then I'm going to take athletics. I have advantage on it since I'm raging, and I have got a pretty decent bonus. So, all right, that's a 27.
You're up on the table, no problem.
So he kind of vaults up, kind of rolls across whatever's on this table, and then kind of brings Gertrude down.
Dirty pots and pans, half-eaten food, and
Absolutely.
a green dragon wormling that's got its front legs up on the table and was just starting to climb up as you roll across and take a swing at the dragon.
Nice. Ooh. 22.
22 is a hit.
Oh, okay, good. In that case, I'm gonna spend 5 domain dice and turn this into a super crit.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna call down the thunder too. So
Excellent.
So as he's kind of rolling, smashing these pots and pans out of the way, getting covered in whatever this moldy food is, he kind of comes to a kneeling position and kind of stands up on his knees and reaches Gertrude up. And as he does so, this lightning bolt kind of strikes down through the roof of this kitchen and kind of, you know, makes his maul kind of glow with this white hot energy, and then he brings it down straight down onto the head of this dragon. Okay, so it is a dragon, and I'm doing the lightning. Total damage that I do on a super crit is 266 points.
Okay. You slam Gerta Brelne down into the head of this green dragon wormling, and you hear this sickening crunch sound as you slam its head down into the tabletop. Lightning is arcing out, and you feel that extra force of the way Gerta Brelne reacts to a dragon. And this energy coursing through, and you watch as these forks of lightning rip through the scales and flesh of this green dragon wormling, almost like electrical fingers tearing it apart. And as the scales and the leathery wings seem to fall away, you feel something resisting against Gerta Brelne as the skull splits apart and a much larger green dragon skull breaks out as almost as if it's molting. You see its form grow until it's pressing against the roof. The roof starts cracking and breaking, and pieces of it start falling inside, tumbling into this room as a large portion of that damage carries over as lightning still arcs across this now adult-sized green dragon. As it rises up, its head crashing up into the ceiling. And even the rest of you elsewhere along Loomlurch, you just hear this tremendous screeching of a dragon.
Oh, that's probably not good.
That was your second action?
Yep. Talmud falls off the side of the table or something and looks up at this thing. And he says, "All right, beastie, here we go." Kind of grips onto his maul all the tighter.
Thorgarn.
So we really just have a walking tower that's just kind of like standing there. Hasn't shown any real aggression. But do I hear stuff going on the inside?
You're just starting to hear a little bit of commotion from inside the dormitory. And you just heard what sounds like a dragon screech, but it's kind of blocked by the dormitory tower further up along this. But you're essentially on, if an at walker was a giant walking stick.
All right. So I had fell prone because I failed my saving throw.
Correct.
So I will stand up, and can I get inside as to where the kids are and see if
yeah, I would say because you were already up on the roof, you'd be able to scramble up and through into one of the windows. Doing so, pulling yourself up, you see Rollo in having just pulled away from one of these children, now surrounded by 10 of these big-headed boggles.
do I have a clear path to them?
Yes, very much so.
All right, I'll just lodge for.
You also see a magical door that you would be familiar with in the middle of this room.
So I'll toss Forge Fane at whatever Boggle's got its hands on my little green friend.
Okay.
That is going to be a 29 and a 26 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I picture Thorgarn chucking Forge Fane before he's even fully through the window and on the, like, boots haven't even touched the floor yet. Forge Fane just comes flying in and just starts going into these boggles.
27. So yeah, I'd say like I throw it before I get in the window, grab it as one foot is through and toss it back. So 27 points of damage.
What's the damage of each separate hit?
Okay. So let's see here. One was 5 and a 4 and a 7. 16. The other one's 11.
So you throw it, and you see the one that had just grabbed hold of Rolo.
It did not grab a hold of me. I made the save.
Right, it had grabbed you. You slipped out of its grip. It just didn't grapple you. So you see that one, Rolo, in front of you. You see this magical hammer just come flying through the air, slam into it, hit it so hard that it just goes ass over tea kettle and sprawls across one of the beds. The hammer flies back, and Thorgarn, you send it flying again. It clobbers into another one, knocks it askew, and it turns up and spits a few broken teeth out, but it's still up.
Cool. And so I will try to use some of my movement if I've got any left, but I doubt it. To try and get between.
Thorgarn, get into the house.
I was looking something up because this feels relevant. I need to see something. Okay, so you conjure an extra-dimensional dwelling in a space that lasts in range that lasts for the dimension. You choose where the entrance is located. Shimmers. Okay, it doesn't seem to specify, and it's not an immovable rod. Technically, you create the magical door in a point in space.
I think it has to be... I think you draw the door against a surface.
It just says you conjure it.
Okay.
More what I'm getting at is you created it in something that is now moving. I'm going to say that it's relative to this Loomlurch. It's moving with. It's not suddenly ripping through the walls and there's a door just in the middle of space. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see if there was anything spelled out in the rules about it being locked to a particular location. Thorgarn, you did use pretty much all your movement to kind of get into the room, so you don't quite make it all the way over there. But Drown, what would you like to do now?
I think I go before Drown.
Yes, Rolo goes before. No, it's just...
Rolo, you had a 16.
Oh, okay.
I thought the same thing, but they are...
They're switched.
Yes.
Did you two just mess up your own names?
No.
Oh no, Jeremy put them in backwards.
Printed us in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we still down on the lower roof?
Yeah, you're only about 8 feet below the window to the dormitories.
Well, I can damn near see over the rail then.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll kind of hop up, grab the rail, pull myself up and over.
Okay.
In the dormitory, it's all full of Boggles and Rolo.
Yep, and
Thorgarn.
And as you step in, you're standing next to Thorgarn, who's taken a couple steps into the room.
Great. Where and there's no sign of actual children, right? Just Boggles.
Absolutely correct.
Great. Where are the Boggles kind of in relation to Rolo?
For the most part, surrounding her.
Surrounding her. Yeah.
Because she had sort of started moving through to try to wake up the children. So in this sort of semicircle, she's roughly halfway, and they were on all the beds and starting to gather around her.
How many Boggles can I get? How many Boggles can I get in a line without putting that line through Rolo?
4.
All right, Drown. His eyes, which are usually sort of this seafoam green, crackle bluish white. His tentacle tattoos crackle with lightning that runs down his fingertips, and lightning bolt runs across those 4. So they need to make dex saves.
Okay. It's DC?
21.
Okay, so whoops, that's let me see. They have a dex +4. The first one sees the lightning coming and drops flat on the floor with a 23. The second one with a 10 gets hit. The third one gets a nat 20 for a 24. And the fourth one gets a 9. So you get 2 of them direct. The other 2 are going to get splash damage, I guess.
That's going to be 36 damage for the ones who fail, 18 to those who pass.
You kill all
Lightning.
4 of them.
Aha!
What does that look like?
Yeah, so the lightning bolt, crackles and buzzes and lances through them, kind of jumping one to the other, and sort of boils the tar and the oil all over their bodies into this thick, almost like caramelized crust.
Very well. Anything else you would like to do?
No, that's my action. I'm good.
Rolo, you've just watched as between Thorgarn and Drown, they have taken out 5, half of the boggles that were surrounding you. What would you like to do?
Rolo, do not like this!
And I'm going to cast Fireball at 5th level.
My word. Fail. What's the DC?
18.
Okay, 1 failed, 1 passed. 16, that's a fail. And 15. Okay, 1 succeeds, the other 3 fail. So many dice.
38 points of fire damage.
38 points of fire damage. How do you take out the remaining... Oh, wait, there's one more in there. How do you take out the remaining 5 boggles in this room?
Rolo's in the center, and she's...
I'm Rolo not like this!
and throws a fireball up into the air, and it kind of rolls across the ceiling like a backdraft and swoops down into the room. She shapes the spell so that it doesn't hit her friends in the room, but the fire hits these asphalt-covered things, and they just erupt into flame and then melt into the floor.
Very cool. Cantriel, it's not your turn yet, but from outside the room, where you're standing there and you've watched the others all go in there, you see Thorgarn clamber through the window, and you just sort of see in the window as he throws the hammer, catches it, throws it, catches it, getting thick with this oily substance each time. Drown goes up, and you see the blue crackles of lightning, all the windows light up, and then all of a sudden you just see as fire comes out almost every window, and then it gets really quiet in there. We cut to the kitchen, where it is now Cradlefall's turn. Cradlefall being the now adult green dragon that is going to, for its first action, I need Fig and Talmud to make wisdom saving throws.
Dirty 20 for me.
All right, you are good. Not only are you... Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I'm spinning a domain die because
All right.
that's not going to work. A 14 total.
Fig. Not only did you avoid the frightful presence of the dragon, you are immune to a draconic frightful presence for the next 24 hours. Talmud, the scene of this dragon molting into an adult and standing over you is now filling you with fear. You are frightened for the next minute.
Smooth. I cannot move closer, and I'm at disadvantage to attack it. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, as long as it's within line of sight, you have disadvantage, not even just against it, but on all attacks. And ability checks, and you can't willingly move closer to it. But don't worry, it is going to rear its head back. You see this where this green sort of smoke is curling out of its nose and mouth, and you see that curling up, and then you watch as it just sort of goes, and the entire kitchen starts to fill with poison gas. And I need Constitution saving throws for Fig and Talmud.
You said that's against poison?
It's poisonous gas, yes.
Sweet.
22, my con save.
Okay, so you'll take half damage.
And I'm resistant.
And
So you'll take a quarter damage.
nice. I also got a 22.
Okay, so you'll take half damage.
I also have resistance as a dwarf.
Awesome. I roll 16d6, and you're going to take 1/4 of the damage.
We sent the right people into that
Yes,
room.
you did. So 54 becomes 27, becomes 14 points of poison damage for each of you.
Right.
As the dragon, as the gas sort of fills this kitchen. Also, let's see. The boggle that was in there starts choking and coughing and sputtering and collapses to the floor. You hear coughing from the dwarf in the grate, but he seems to be doing okay. And the dragon, you see its head curling down through as the gas pulls away, and you can actually see across its face a look of confusion as you are both still standing. Well, there are no boggles to take turns, so I don't need to worry about them. All of you...
Jake?
Yes?
Did the building itself, since it's a creature, also take effect from the fireball?
That is a good point. Yeah, how much damage did you do on that one?
36, I think it was.
36. Okay.
It's 38, I thought.
Was it 38? I don't remember for sure.
Okay. I've written 38 down.
Not to be that player, but would the lightning bolt and the dragon's breath also be affecting creature? Again, I'm fine with it not. I'm just raising the question.
No, that's a good. I'll make notes. I'm not going to tell you what effects, if any, that they're having, but that is an excellent point. Okay. So no boggles. Cantriel, you are outside the room, and the other two, the kitchen is, the roof is wide open. It's now a convertible kitchen, open air patio style kitchen. Mm-hmm. So all of you can easily hear this from the treetops of these tree towers. And Fig and Talmud, you hear it much better as you hear a cackling sound. You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? And you can see flying in amongst the treetops a little hunched old woman holding on to a rocking horse. She's just... and you can see light glinting off of the golden horn coming off of this rocking horse. And you can see the slowly turning wind-up key in her back as Scabatha Nightshade is flying in through the treetops. And I'm going to see if she can spot any of you.
Urla would very much like that rocking horse.
Okay, so with that, she's definitely going to be able to see all of you that are, of the three of you that I mentioned. So now, We're going to see which one of the three of you she targets. 1 and 2 is Cantriel. 3, 4 is Fig. 5, 6 is Talmud. That is a 1. Cantriel. You see, coming through the branches, flying up overhead, you see Skabatha Nightshade. And she looks down from up above, and you see the rocking horse sort of curl. She kind of pulls back on the handles, sticking out of the side of its head, causing it to pull back as if it were rearing back on its hind legs up in the treetops.
Oh, look at here, Dawnbringers. Oh, not so fearsome as my sister said. Oh, let's see if you can survive this.
She starts twirling her finger, and
Can I see her?
you cannot. You are inside the building. And I need you, Cantriel, to make a Constitution saving throw as waves of green and black energy come streaking towards you.
That is a dirty 20.
Let's see, what's her save? Her save is... Okay, so you save on that. You are going to take half damage as this wave of necrotic... Let me try that again. This wave of necrotic damage energy comes towards you. I'm going to roll digitally. I don't have that many d8s here. There's a couple of 2s and 1s in there. 58 total necrotic damage. You will take 29 points of that as this wave of necro energy courses over top of you, and seems to, some of the shadow seems to cling to you. You can see where it crawls along your veins, but kind of stops as you resist against this powerful spell that she just cast on you. She is then going to not do anything, because that was her action. Fig. Down in the kitchen with the dragon towering over, what would you like to do?
That boggle is still there, right? It
is there, but it's dead. It was killed by the poison breath.
Oh. All right. Well. Cool. Okay. Fig is going to... This time he takes off his hand and he holds it in one hand, and another one, kind of reassembles, and he's going to chuck the hand at the dragon, and as it's being thrown, it all of a sudden grows large and into a fist as it punches the dragon as he casts Bigby's hand.
I love that you pull it off and another one just goes... It's awesome.
So he's gonna
transformers up into big head size.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Fig is quickly becoming half Transformer, half Voltron.
Yeah. Okay. So then I do an attack.
And that was so cute. Yeah.
So that's 19 to hit.
That will hit.
Cool. I've upcasted it, so that will be 48 points of force damage.
Man, you just straight up uppercut this dragon as this fist enlarges and just crack. You slam the lower jaw shut against the top jaw. You hear that loud, almost like an alligator slamming their jaws shut.
Neat.
48.
it's my
Okay.
turn.
All right. The dragon is going to take a legendary action. And it is going to sweep its tail through the kitchen. And I think it's going to sweep at you, Fig, since you just sucker punched it.
So it has disadvantage against Fig because my spirits are swarming all over it from where I hit it.
Okay. So that's either... So the 29 won't hit. Does a 14 hit?
14 will not hit.
Okay. So yeah, this tail just comes sweeping through. Dishes are scattered. The table gets shattered. Pieces of it breaking over top where you sort of fell off it, Talmud. And Fig, you just kind of move out of the way as this tail sweeps through. And that is the end of Cradlefall's turn. Or bonus action. Not legendary action. Cantriel! It's your turn, and Skabatha's flying around in the trees up above you, having just tried to... Nope, I am not going to say that. Cast a spell on you.
I can see her, right? How far away is she?
She is 30 feet up.
30 feet up. Okay. 30 feet up. So, Cantriel is going to narrow her eyes and they begin to flash as she licks her fingers, and there's a significant spark that starts as she pulls an arrow from her quiver and pulls her bow back, whispering, "Swift death to those who have wronged me," activating Semper Cavatina, and she is going to send a round off to Skabatha with some lightning arrow, also throwing in Cavatina's fun little extra bonus damage. And that is going to be... Hold on, I got a toggle here. 23 to hit.
Yes, that will absolutely hit her.
So I'm going to use some domain die.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm casting lightning arrow at 6th level.
Okay.
So she needs to, because this is going to affect just how much damage lightning is going to enact. So I need a con save from her for 17.
Let's see. She's... that is a total of 13 from her.
Okay, so Skabatha is taking 178 damage.
Oh,
Yes, she is.
okay. So this is an arrow that's just arcing with magical sort of hex energy as well as the lightning arrow energy flying straight up at her and striking her. And you see her actually, as she's hit and this electricity courses over her and this magical rocking horse, it was 170 what?
78. And that's the first arrow.
Made me pull out a calculator. You see her slip, like, because this rocking horse was sort of rearing back, and she starts to slip, and she scrabbles and grabs hold and kind of pulls herself back up, and you see her just kind of, as smoke is curling up from her hair and her ears and the tip of her hat, and she just, because apparently she has a pointed witch's hat. She, as she scrambles up and she looks down at you, and you can see the anger and some fear in her eyes as you prepare to take your second attack. She holds up from her waist, you see it tethered by a string. She holds up a jar and she just goes, ah, ah, ah. And you see inside this jar a dozen miniature children banging against the glass. What would you like to do for your second action or attack?
How badly does she look hurt?
Oh, you effed her up. Let's see. 178 damage. How bad is she? She is very bad.
She's very, very bad. Oh, Cantriel will wave her arrow back, go, Basically, she's doing a standoff with the freaking hag.
Okay. Are you going to hold that attack, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually going to hold that second arrow.
Okay.
If she gets distracted or turns her back type of thing, she's going to let it go.
Okay. You see as she's sort of where she is up there 30 feet above you, you can see now that even the tail of this rocking horse is like actually on fire from the lightning damage, just looking like just a little ember of flame off the tail. As it is now Talmud's turn down in the kitchen.
Okay. So he just made this sweep with his tail through the kitchen. I kind of fallen off of the table. I kind of stand up from where I'm kind of kneeling on the floor and charge forward, basically straight up to where one of the legs of this dragon are, raising Geralt de Brelne up high and swinging down, I think just basically on one of this dragon's feet. Again, attacking recklessly.
At disadvantage because you are frightened.
At disadvantage.
So it would be straight up
right.
since you're attacking reckless.
Great question. Was I already close enough to it to strike it?
It's basically there. That's why you're not technically moving closer to it. You're just standing up. Right. So yeah, you're not moving closer to it. You just attack with disadvantage, so straight up since you attacked recklessly.
So that's going to be it's still a 25.
That's can't talk. Hit.
I'm gonna take
I don't know what happened there.
Oh. All right, so that is plus 11. That's 23, and then dragon damage on top of that. For an extra 8, so 31 total on the first attack.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and then the second, a 19.
19 hits.
Oh, okay, excellent. Good. Right. Let's see what we can do here.
As you are making these attacks against it, you hear coming from the grate, both of you can hear in the kitchen, coming from that grate in the floor, you hear this dwarven voice go, "Yeah, get him, boy! Knock the scales off his ass!"
The second one is 28 points.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Cradlefall did a tail attack. He's gonna make another tail attack as a legendary action. Against you, Talmud.
Okay. Has advantage against me because I recklessly attacked.
Okay, so that is either. Let's see if it's a crit. It's not. So that is a 24 to hit.
Yes.
This time the tail comes swinging around from the other direction, clobbering you for 20 points of bludgeoning damage. Have that to 10. You just get slammed by the tail, and you just hear that dwarf go, "Ooh!" Meanwhile...
This dwarf makes the same noise.
Meanwhile, up in the dormitory, where there's a whole bunch of dead boggles, Thorgarn.
Right, so do I hear more of a ruckus coming from the kitchen or outside with the hag? I don't know how close the kitchen is to the dormitory.
The kitchen is a little ways away, but I'm just looking at where the windows to the dormitory are. I would say, looking out the window, you can see about just past, looking out the window, you see the second tree tower, and just beyond that, you can see this green dragon's head and wings as it's sort of sticking out of part of this lurching structure of Loomlurch.
All right, so I'll start heading in the direction of the dragon then.
Okay. So you basically could run across the room, clamber out a window, and start just running across the rooftops.
That works.
Okay.
Just,
So yeah, you jump down and just start running across. And I would say, so your speed is 30. Yeah?
35.
35. So 70. You can get 20. You come around that second tower, and you're sort of where all of those to the right side of that second tower. It's almost like where one of these sets of legs attaches to the tree, and you get to that point, and now you can see at the kitchens where the dragon is. It's only about 40 feet away from you.
Okay. But it took my action to get them, so I'm good.
Correct. Which then takes us to Drought. You're muted.
Talmud first after Thorgarn?
I already went.
Talmud
okay.
went. Talmud
Right.
goes before Thorgarn.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Oh, man. So she is 30 feet above us, you said, Skabatha?
She would only be about 20 feet above you if you go to the window, because you're on that higher up floor.
Interesting.
Cantriel never climbed up from above the workshop.
Right, she was down on the lower roof. Okay.
And with your height, that puts you about 15 feet below her. You can almost jump up and grab her.
Almost. Actually, 15 feet, I can.
You know, I said that and I was like, wait, what are the vertical jump rules?
Yeah, if I get a run, I can jump. I can get a 10-foot vertical.
So you do have a balcony that you could get
no,
a
it's
running.
a quarter. It's a quarter. It's not half. Never mind. Can't quite make it. If there's if the balcony gives me enough of a boost,
I was going to
can get a
say,
5-foot.
so the balcony would allow you to get the running distance,
Yeah.
and then there's a railing.
Hell, all right, yeah.
I would
sprint.
say make an athletics or acrobatics check, because just the multiple moves you're doing. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
If
all right.
that's what-
Drown is going to sprint forward, hop up on the rail, and just leap up towards her.
This is a full-on
So,
Thor.
athletics check.
Yeah, this is a full-on like
right.
Thor.
Yep. All right. Well, this is
It's one of my
plus 10.
favorite action movie moves. It's so tropey, but I love it.
23.
Okay. So the 23 is enough for you to reach up and you get hold of, I'm even going to make you make an additional check. You basically, like Schwarzenegger grabbing at the skids of a helicopter, you now have hold of this flying rocking horse's rockers. And the whole thing lurches as you grab hold of it. I'm just gonna make a quick check here. Actually, roll me a D100.
Sure.
There is a 30% chance that this full action was enough to start pulling it downward. Do I have my number?
I got 11.
So that would have been 15 on either side. So that would make that
26.
I rolled a 41, so
Yeah,
not
no,
quite
no.
enough, but you do have hold. You're basically grappling onto the flying horse, and Skabatha's right there as you have hold of this.
right.
So I'm going to say that was... You have 2 attacks?
Only when using my packed weapon.
Okay. So then that would be your full action to jump up and do that.
Yeah. If I figured that was essentially.
And you can totally see now where you have a very close-up look as she's holding this tethered jar, and it's got sort of a narrow neck. It's more of a bottle, I guess, than a jar. You can see that there's like a dozen children kind of not getting jostled around in there, and some of them are pressed down looking at you, some of them in awe, but they're all, you can just hear this sort of
Working on it.
Rolo.
Okay. I'm going to move to the window. See what's going on. Can I make an Arcana check to know if it's the jar that made them small or a spell that made them small?
Sure.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
It's given that they would have to already be small to pass into the jar, you feel pretty confident that the hag used magic to shrink them down and put them inside the jar.
Cool. And how high up is she?
About 20 feet.
And how fast do you fall per round?
We figured this out once. It's like hundreds of feet in a round.
Yeah,
falling.
it's roughly 500 feet.
Yeah.
Anybody who falls is hitting the ground.
Rolo is going to fly out the window. Yell to Cantriel.
Get ready to feather fall!
Fly under the jar and roll so that her belly is up. Shatter the jar. So that the kids fall onto her belly.
Oh my. Okay.
So Cantriel's still holding her action right now for the second arrow.
Yep.
So
Feather
Cantriel
fall's
can
a
let that.
reaction.
Yeah, Cantriel's going to let that arrow go into Skabatha. But the thing is, I've already cast a spell with lightning arrow.
So
You cast a spell on your turn. You can still use a reaction.
Okay.
yeah,
So-
But
yeah,
remember that
yeah.
it costs your reaction to use your ready. So if you use your ready to action, you don't. You
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's one or the other. Featherfall
here's
or your
the one
ready
thing I'm
action.
concerned about, and I think Jeremy called it in the side chat. Shatters an area. So
Yeah, it's
And
going
is
to.
there a
That's what I was
way
getting
we
ready
can
to look
do
up.
this without pulping
Yeah,
the
I
kids?
can position it up
Is that
above
the kind?
so that it only
you
hits the
sculpt
top of the jar.
She can, but it's only it's a limited number of targets.
Oh.
I can position it up above, though, so that it only hits the
true.
top of the jar.
Cool. Yeah,
You could get her too with it then.
Yep.
So
that's inches of leeway we're talking about.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
here's the thing. I'm not going to make you kill a bunch of kids. I mean,
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm just not going to do it. We're going to be honest about that. But
Yeah.
there's so many variables at play here. You are, because I love this, what I'm seeing action-wise. You fly out the window, you're flying up, you roll over, belly up, wings spread, You cast this shatter spell, catching Skabatha and catching the top of the jar. You are... Go ahead and roll your damage, because it's an object, so it's automatically a crit. What's your save? Because Skabatha needs to make
It's a con save of 18.
The Skabatha needs to make a con save versus the shatter. So Skabatha gets a 21.
Okay.
So Skabatha will take half damage, and the jar is going to shatter, and a dozen children are going to fall onto your belly, a bunch of tiny children.
Uh, 13 points of damage.
Okay. That was the total damage?
Yes.
So she'll take 7 of that. In fact, I would flavor it that you break her hand.
Nice.
With this. Just the way this whole action went and the way you position that, you see the glass shatter and you see her fingers and you hear her Cantriel, being from the Feywild, you totally understand the I can't think of the word now, the Sylvan swear words that she's using.
Oh.
Physics. No,
it's not physics.
It's like the physics of the Feywild? Where are we going?
It's more
Now,
psychology, really.
So Fig, you're wrapping your wings, your arms around these children.
Rolo
Rolo is doing that. Yes.
Wrong wizard.
This is brand new. I don't know where this came from. Brand new tonight. Rolo, you've protectively Roloed up around these children. Cantriel, what are you doing?
Was she able to catch them all?
I'm not going to make you kill children. You get all 12 of the kids wrapped up.
All right, cool.
So, Cantriel will, as she's putting the bow and arrow down to her side, she basically just pulls a feather out of one of the braids in her hair and tosses it in the direction of Drown, and just in case, Rolo. So Featherfall will be enacted for the two of them, because I don't know what's happening with Skabatha yet.
Okay.
If her device is going to be wobbly falling as well.
So, you catch Fig, who has all the...
I catch Rolo.
Oh, why? I don't know.
It's just tripling down.
I'm making up for all the time I've gotten your names
that's
right.
where we really need to worry.
I will
Right.
point out, you haven't mixed up Talmud and Thorgarn tonight.
I don't know where this is coming from. I wish I could say it was a joke. Oh my gosh. Rolo is caught in the Featherfall, and you see as Rolo's just all curled up as you start to just sort of drift downward, falling down towards the top of where this workshop is. Skabatha is up above and is going to use a reaction to cast a spell. And she begins speaking rapidly in she's actually speaking in Sylvan, her arcane words. And Cantriel, anybody who speaks Sylvan, go ahead and make an insight check.
With 14.
Okay. Anybody else speak Sylvan? Okay. You're not sure of the nature of this magic, Cantriel. You recognize them as arcane words. And as she says this, all of the leaves on these tree towers begin to glow. And you watch as what looks like fireflies en masse. Fairy lights everywhere.
I hate to do it. Counterspell.
Okay.
It sounds like it was going to be really cool, but counterspell.
I need you to roll for that because it is bigger than a 3rd level spell.
I'm going to cast it at 4th level.
So that would cancel 4th level and below. That gives you a 1 off of the DC. So, okay.
Is it just a straight roll?
Yeah, you roll
It's intelligence.
and add your intelligence modifier.
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Nice.
Okay. So you watch as all of these fireflies begin to form, and then they start to fall, and like embers, they quickly flicker out as Rollo counterspells.
I feel like it looks like Jeremy's background.
Very much so. And it would have been very cool and possibly very detrimental as
Rollo just
What-
goes,
as what was supposed to happen doesn't happen. And Skabatha looks down and says,
Oh, we're just getting started, dearies.
and that's where we're going to end tonight's session because it's 11 o'clock.
good session.
That was cool.
Amazing. I love it.
It's awesome that you counterspelled that. But it would have been awesome if you didn't. So I'm not going to tell you what would have happened, though. I'll keep that one in my
Right,
back pocket.
Jake, I was not fishing for kids to die. Like
No,
we
no,
had a
no. I
plan.
get that. I get
A
that.
bunch of us were talking, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
we had 2 feather falls, and I was ready to catch stragglers because I was dangling from the rocking horse.
So the reason I didn't want to go too wild with it was, one, I just wanted to make it very clear, and I saw
Yeah.
staff and in the audience was like, "We thank you." Sometimes you just got to be very clear that there is a line here, and it's not going to.
I'm just making
No, I
sure
get
that,
that.
everybody knows
Yeah.
I was not telling.
No,
that line.
no. The reason I opted for Rollo saves all of the children was just it was all very well narrated. The roles were done very well, and it was just a
it was great.
cinematically. It was a very awesome scene. I could see it so perfectly, and that's why I didn't go any further with it. I have no doubt that you all could have, and maybe it would have been funny and cool to see children falling slowly all around, but
In
No,
my
I-
head,
like, that
the
works
shatter
perfectly.
just
Right.
broke the top of the jar off
Yeah.
the rest of the jar, and the kids are still inside it, and that's how she was able to get them all.
so yeah. No, I didn't think that anybody was fishing for anything like that. It just was one of those moments where I was like, I kind of need to make this. I just want to make this very clear. I'm not going to kill
Yeah.
a bunch of kids. Hey, you beat Skabatha, but all the kids are gone. So yeah, we will. Hold on. The spooky music can go away right now. We will be back next week to hopefully finish up this fight. There's still a dragon. There's still a hag. And there's a whole lot of loose ends. Even if
The party split.
yeah, the party
There's a lot
party's
going
split.
on right now.
There's a lot going on. I need to make sure I stick this note with the other Dawnbringer stuff because I've got
RQ Stefan, thank you for doing clips.
Yes, as always, RQ Stefan is our clip master. If you head into Don't Jeremy. I don't know if you did or if I'm just projecting onto you, but I think you did. Anyway, I'm going to move right past that.
Happy birthday to Dan.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday.
I just dropped the Discord
Thank you
link
very much.
in the chat. There is a public channel for all of our streaming shows. RQ Stefan drops clips into that channel on the Discord as well if you want to check those out. Or if you just want to come join the MTV community, come check out the Discord. Trying to think, Monday night is our next streamed game with Scribes and Scrolls returning. We were off this week for for the Labor Day holiday. And sorry, I'm trying to find somebody to raid. I don't really have a whole lot going on of the people I follow. So if somebody wants to drop something in the chat here, a suggestion. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be back next week. Next week is the
There's always turtles and
15th.
chill.
Okay, yeah, I do have that one. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I love turtles and chill.
We'll do
It's such a good
turtles
channel.
and chill. I was just thinking, because in 3 weeks we will not have a Dawnbringers guaranteed, because I'm going to be out of town that week. But just if you're ever wondering if there's going to be a Dawnbringers game, just follow MTD Jake on Twitter or follow any of us and see. I usually try to let people know if there isn't going to be one for some reason. But next week we will continue with this epic split party multi-boss battle and see where this goes. I'm going to go ahead and queue up some turtles and chill for a raid. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. See, we picked up some new followers. Thank you for those who subscribed or resubscribed, supporting the community and providing the Dawnbringers with domain dice that they love to save up for occasions just like this. We greatly appreciate that. If you are somebody who hangs out in our chat, lurking quietly from the shadows, thank you. We appreciate you and hope you enjoy our games. And finally, a huge thank you to all of these amazing people that I'm so lucky to get to play this game with for over 4 years now. For some of you, thank you as always to V, Dan, M, Ted, Jeremy, and Katie, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple of hours. We are going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
Bloody hell.